Hi, I'm Jennifer Roig-Francolí. I am the creator of the Art of Freedom method for conscious living and masterful artistry. I'm also a professional violinist and host of the free Facebook group called The Musician's Advantage. I came on to make this video just now because I had the intuition yesterday actually that I needed to take on a new challenge in my life, a creative challenge. It's really a challenge. This is something hard for me, otherwise it wouldn't be a challenge, right? So you may or may not know, but I have been making solo violin recordings professionally for the last almost a year now, and I've started putting my recordings out into the world on streaming platforms like Spotify. You're welcome to follow me, that would be great. And after I finished recording what I had intended, a Bach partita and the Izai Ballade, then there was one other piece that I decided that I would start recording called the Ionescu Sarabande. I finished that recording, and there's one other piece that I really, really love, and I've been practicing it off and on for quite a while. It's by Kreisler, and it's called the Recitativo and Scherzo Caprice. Now here's where my challenge comes in. My hope has been to include that piece on an album, including all these pieces that I just mentioned. This, the Bach is the partita number 2, which includes the chaconne. I've released the chaconne, but the rest of the partita is already, has been recorded. I just haven't released that yet. So it just would be the perfect length, and all these pieces really fit together. They kind of make a complete recording. And the thing is about this Kreisler is that I just haven't been able to get it up to my high standards for myself. It's just not good enough yet. And I could make it work, it could be good enough, but it's just not there yet. And frankly, I kind of gave up on it. And I decided, oh well, I don't really need to include that on the album, which is true. I could release the album without the Kreisler. However, I realized that I'm not happy about that, and I haven't been actually practicing for maybe 2 or 3 months, except for a little bit here and there, but for the most part, when I finished the Ionescu Sarabande, when I finished that recording, I felt good, I felt complete, and I decided, well, and I didn't decide, I just kind of stopped practicing. That's nothing new. I've had long periods of not practicing throughout my life, so no surprise, but I've been feeling less and less good about that. And I had this intuition just yesterday that I need to not give up on the Kreisler. And in order to go back to the Kreisler, I realized yesterday that I need to approach it in a really different and highly, highly fresh, new, creative way, because my old way of approaching that piece just wasn't working. So I am somehow feeling like within me, I'm calling myself to raise the bar on what I'm willing to do to, I don't know, to improve as a violinist, but it's not to improve as a violinist. That's not what it's about. There's like, I've kind of plateaued somehow, and that's okay, it's good enough, it's pretty good actually. I'm quite happy with how I play for the most part, and I'm very happy with the recordings that I've made. But there's something here that I am missing, and I have an intuition that there is a gold mine just waiting for me on the other side of this. I've hit a blockage, and I kind of gave up, and I'm not okay with that. But doing it the old way is not going to get me what I really want. And I wasn't planning on making this video, but I decided to come on to tell you all of this, to tell you that I'm taking on this challenge for myself, but even more importantly, I want to share some of my process because, I coach musicians on exactly the kind of things that I need to work on, that all musicians need to work on. Fundamentally, it's about how to get out of your own way, mentally, emotionally, and physically, and spiritually, so that you and I and we can freely realize our freedom. That's why my work is called The Art of Freedom. We want to realize our freedom to be fully, authentically, truly ourselves, and to share and express that self in everything that we do. And primarily, as musicians, as artists, we want to be able to do that through our music. So I came to practice now, and I just started playing a little bit of this Kreisler, and within seconds, actually I came and I approached it with a different attitude. Now what I teach is something called constructive thinking, and my whole work is based on the Alexander technique, but very specifically I teach primal Alexander, which is a hands-free method of teaching the Alexander technique. And I've been training in that for nearly 6 years now with the creator of that method, Miraculous, who is also my partner. I'm so fortunate. And so because I've been doing this every day for years, and this is what I teach my students, I decided to come to the practice room, do my constructive thinking, but also to open up to a completely fresh way of approaching it. I didn't want to do any of the old things. I didn't want to do my old habits, and yet I didn't really want to do what I was supposed to do either. And that, again, is all about me giving myself the permission to be myself and to be free to find my own way within a framework that makes sense to me and touches my soul. I started playing, and very soon, within seconds, I started recognizing an old habit popping up. This is a habit of needing and wanting very much to be in tune. So I started playing just some random section from the middle of the Scherzo Caprice, this piece I'm talking about, the Kreisler. Without my music, I even had my eyes closed, which isn't how I usually play. But I closed my eyes and I listened, and there were some double stops that weren't quite in tune, and my habitual self started fixing it, and my intonation is pretty good, and I can hear when it's off most of the time. And so I just started doing my usual kind of adjusting, and I started listening, but I caught the habit of needing to be in tune, needing to get it right, needing to do it right, needing to practice right. I really wanted to be in tune, but it was almost like it's because I was supposed to be in tune. And I caught that right away, and I said, no, I don't want to be practicing working on my intonation because that's what I'm supposed to do. So I paused. I did my constructive thinking. I went inward. I got curious. And curiosity is the key to everything. I'm realizing more and more and more. Curiosity, a healthy curiosity. There is an unhealthy curiosity as well that just takes you down. Curiosity killed the cat, that kind. Now I'm talking about a healthy curiosity that captures your interest in a way that helps you get creative. And that's what happened to me in that moment. I didn't want to work on the intonation the old way. I didn't want to try to be right or be hypercritical in that moment. And yet, when I inquired of myself, and this all happened very fast, not even all verbally, just this is what happened. My whole self slowed down a little bit, and I started listening, free of judgment, open to receiving information. I played the double stop, and I adjusted, and I heard why I want to play in tune. Because suddenly the vibrations of playing in tune, they got me. It's like it captured me, and something opened up, it's like, I don't know, this sounds really weird, I get it. I'm weird, I admit it. But it's like something in me broke through to a different dimension. Like suddenly there was a perfection that I could see and hear and feel and be a part of. It's like the heavens opened up, and in that instant that I played the perfect third or the perfect fourth or whatever it was, I don't know what interval I was playing, and then the next one, and when I played in tune, suddenly I heard it with a kind of depth where the essence of harmony, it's like, I know, it sounds just crazy, but I felt that just pure quality of, it's like everything became perfect in that instant. I was able to participate. My imperfect, humble, limited self was somehow able to open up and pierce through to partake of divine perfection. Those are the words that are coming to me, and that's what I wanted to share with you, because we all have that capacity. Even a beginner who has only played their instrument for a very, very short time. What I played was 2 notes together. You can find that perfection playing 2 open strings together without even putting your fingers down. It's there. The perfection of sound vibrations and pure harmony is there, accessible for each of us. And the challenge here is to be able to get out of our own way. I was only able to access the depth of what I experienced in a way that I embodied with my whole self, heart, and soul from the core of me in that moment. I was only able to access that because I was willing to experiment. I was willing to find out something new. And then ultimately, it wasn't even about, it became not about learning the Kreisler or being able to play the Kreisler or being able to get the notes right so that in a few weeks or months I'll be able to finally record this piece. All of that was just immaterial. Like, who cares? I really don't. Part of me cares. But when I get rid of all of those desires, I still have them in the back of my mind, but I am so unattached. I was so unattached in that moment to the outcome, the results, the goals that I was talking about before. That in that moment, I got my ego out of the way. I opened up. I practiced the process that I teach, the Art of Freedom method, with all that there is included in that, but also with the supreme and excellent simplicity of Primal Alexander, where I'm just paying attention to finding out what's happening to me in the moment. I'm doing just a little bit of constructive thinking. That's a very specific way of thinking that allows my awareness. There's a shift in the awareness that, like I said before, there's an element of curiosity and openness. It all wakes up and it becomes bigger. It's bigger than me. It's connecting my inner experience with the outer experience. And I'm just an impartial witness and observing what this body is doing and thinking and finding out what's happening with this instrument that I'm connected to. It's really quite amazing. I only practiced, I don't even like to call this practicing, because practicing has so many old connotations, old associations, and when I grew up, I didn't like practicing, and I would talk about how I hated practicing, and there are just so many negative things associated with the idea of practicing for me personally that, the thought of practicing just turns me off, even just thinking of that word. I've had to get very, very, very creative in finding ways to bring myself to relating with this instrument, to take myself in the direction that I've wanted to go in, to learn music, to perform, to record. Anyway, I want to finish up this video. I was saying I was only doing what I was doing with the violin for a few minutes, maybe 3-5 minutes, that little bit of time, but I approached it in such a new way. And I have to say, I also, before I started, I had the intention to experience how do I put it? Help is the only word that comes to me. I wanted to feel like I'm not doing it alone. So much of our practicing, so much of our work with our instruments, so much of our playing with our instruments is solitary. I'm a very happily solitary person. I like to be alone, and yet I wanted to feel connected. That's the best way to put it. I wanted to feel connected and supported in my exploration of myself with my violin today. And I know, I was going to say I believe, but I know that intention was pivotal for me to have the experience that I had. And when I think now, just for a moment, I'm thinking again of how I tapped into the essence of sound today. And it's something so beautiful. That's enough. So I hope this video is inspiring to you. I hope it inspires you to get curious about what's possible, about getting curious to go deeper, to uncover the layers, to go beyond what's habitual, and to discover what the meaning that's underneath our habits, and to make a conscious, personal choice, to take back your agency, to take back your freedom to choose what you are going to do with your mind, your body, your whole self, and why you're a musician. Why are you connecting with your instrument? The first pillar of the Art of Freedom method is purpose. The other four are mind, body, spirit, and artistry. And you can never repeat the same thing more than once, because you're a different person from moment to moment to moment. Even, with a tiny little fact of, since I started talking on this video, certain cells have died in me and new cells are being born. It's like I'm a slightly different physical makeup, chemical makeup. My brain is wiring slightly differently just because of the experience I've been having speaking to you. We are different from moment to moment. So let's let each moment be a fresh discovery of what's possible. And pretty much, I believe anything is possible. And when you believe anything is possible, anything really does become possible. Not necessarily on your timeline. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get this Kreisler recitativo scherzo caprice into the shape that is going to be good enough for me to actually record it and put it on that album. And maybe that will never happen. But I have a clear intention now. And I intend to follow through on that intention. And I am more curious than ever to find out what is going to happen. I've never done this before. I'm excited. What am I going to find out the next time I start to explore with my instrument? So, let's find out. May you enjoy your explorations of self and instrument and music. And don't try to have the same experience that I just had. That was a unique moment in time, and it will never happen again to me. It can never happen exactly the same way to anybody on this planet, I truly believe. But you can have your own magical, mystical experience when you are clear that is what you want, and you're clear about your purpose, and if you have a clear method to accomplish the things that I just, demonstrated. I didn't do the actual practicing in front of the video, but I am giving you a play-by-play of what actually just happened a few minutes ago. If you want to learn the very specific steps to access and realize this kind of freedom for yourself, and learn how to apply constructive thinking and how to wake up that kind of magical curiosity that allows you to tap into the essence of things and make amazing things happen for yourself. It's not hard. It's extremely simple, and it's actually very easy and quick to learn. Today I've been talking about inspiration and technique. I've been talking about intonation because that's what came up today. But whatever it is that you want, maybe you're a musician in pain. I work with many musicians who have physical pain or performance anxiety. If you're suffering in some way, the Art of Freedom method, Primal Alexander, can absolutely, for sure, help you, because I'm just helping myself and my clients to tap into our natural design. We're made to have rich, powerful experiences like this whenever we want. We're made to tap into inspiration and flow and to have wonderful things revealed to us. And we're made to be happy. And it's not hard to tap into that. But you do need to know how, and you do need to practice doing that. That's much more important than any musical practice. Learning how to really fully be yourself and to access inspiration in your heart and in the world, and how to express who you truly are without fear, beyond stress, and without suffering. It's a birthright to be able to access freedom from suffering, I truly believe. And it is absolutely possible. So if you're curious about any of this, you want to learn any of this for yourself, for your music making, for your life, you know where to find me. Just send me a message, send me an email, and tell me what's going on. Let's have a little conversation. And I'd love to give you more information about what may be possible, what is possible for you. So lots of love to you. I hope you enjoyed this.